most people play to not lose rather than play to win, right? So you just like, and it's so true though, like most people play to not have anything awful happen to them, but you want to play all out and you want to go overboard just to win.
Hey there, this is Neil Napier from MyFirst1000, and today I'm joined by Jamie. Jamie runs Market Titans Agency as well as a social media platform called 1P Social. And I wanted to get him on this call because I know that he's been using content in very unique ways to support his other businesses. He's been creating membership sites, courses to help drive more people into his core business. So Jamie, good to have you here. Can you tell me a little bit about exactly what you do?
Yeah, sure. So we own a marketing agency that primarily specializes in email automations. And then the software company helps entrepreneurs, coaches, trainers, anyone in that category to repurpose their content quite easily and quite quickly.
Interesting. And I mean, a lot of what you do is software, of course, but then why did you create a course?
So we created a course because we discovered that although the software company was doing quite good, there was a customer journey that someone had to go through before they became the ideal client for the software company. So we talked about it internally and we decided that if we could create a training course that would take someone brand new who isn't creating social media content and show them how to create it easily and quickly to grow their sales and grow their brand, then they become a hyper engaged user of our software company as well. So to recap that, we're pretty much creating an online course to create more clients for our software company.
Interesting. I'll tell you this. So I met the owner of Meet, Edgar, a couple of years ago, and she used to run an information product business, a membership site business, where she would teach people how to curate their content from social media again and again to get visibility. And then she decided to turn that into software. And within 18 months, it was at $1 million annual recurring revenue just from that. And I think it's the same concept applies here, that you can show people through a course how important it is and how they can reuse their content, repurpose it, and then you can show them the software that actually automates a lot of that, right?
Yes, correct.
It's a pretty good strategy. I do like it. Now, tell me this. I mean, a lot of people that we are in a similar setup in that way. We also sell courses to show people how to do things with the software as well. But they have this reservation. They feel like, you know what, I can just kind of do this myself. So my question to you is, how do you comfortably ascend them from, say, the membership site to the next level?
To the software, like to using the software, yeah. So if someone completes the program, they get a discount rate for the software as well. So we encourage them to use that. And a lot of what we teach is dependent on this software too. So although we show them how to, say, create content, once they do create it, we then go, all right, so now that you have this vlog or this article or this podcast, how do you grow your brand using that? Well, you could just upload it or you could use this. And we walk them through different tutorials through the online course from beginning to end in terms of creating their content, planning it, scripting it, launching it, and then how to repurpose that and use it again and again.
Interesting. I like that discount approach because it's almost like giving them a prize for finishing a course. So they feel like, yep, this is good. I've done the hard bit. Now I can just, save a lot of money and automate the entire thing.
Exactly, because a lot of the time once someone completes a course, or even if they're going through a course, the most annoying thing, and I'm saying it from my own experience, is like, oh, now I need ClickFunnels, or now I need like infusion stuff. It's like, there's more expenses, right? So if you can remove any friction from the client or the prospect, and that integrates well into what you're trying to sell as well, then it's an easy win for you and for the enrollee as well.
Jamie, I have to say, I think I have to steal that. That's really, really clever. I like it. I think it just it's a win-win for everyone. in that case.
Mm-mm.
Let me
And
ask.
with I was just about to say, on the online course aspect, the sort of overarching principle was how can we turn a everyday person into our ideal client? And the answer to that was train them up, show them the importance, give them the actual skill set, the confidence, the tools to where now they've changed as a person. Now they have a new brand, a new sort of content platform. Now they become our ideal client. So most people look at advertising to their ideal client, and that's where we should all pick in. But how can you take someone who's not your prospect yet and turn them into your prospect? Most people look at that through content or through education-based stuff. But if you can sell a program that appeals to where they are now and then take them to where you need them to be to become a client, then not only can you capture your current clients, but now you can sell your course to a whole new market segment as well.
Very interesting. So in a way, you are actually making money up front before you even sell your software. So that way you more or less break even or even better. And the customers that are coming in then are really hot prospects and not just cold audience that you're getting from an ad or an email. That's good.
Correct.
Wow. Okay. Well, let me ask you this as well. So when you created this course, when you set everything up, and I know you did that inside of Guiveer, how long did it take you to get to your first $1,000 with that?
I reckon it happened reasonably quickly, because what happened is I created about 60% of the course first, and then the last 40%, I was like, okay, I can complete this once there is a supply and demand there. So I decided to go out and aggressively, I guess, prove the concept now that it was half done. And I reckon we got the first $1,000 in within a week, I think, because we did push it quite hard. And a lot of that came from just a lot of cold outreach, email campaigns, and people that I knew who this course was designed for as well.
Got it. Very interesting. So I think a week is it can be done, like you said, if you do push on all cylinders, you make sure you do your outreach, you talk to people who the course could be useful to.
All cylinders, everything. Yeah. Like I used to run a course every year. This is going back a few years ago now, and it was all geared around how to launch out your own online program. I ran a course for 3 years between 2013, 14, 15. And one of the principles that we taught was to look at trying to like pretend this launch is the last launch you'll ever do, where like you're not ashamed of like over spamming or putting out too much content or doing too much outreach. I find most people are very cautious when they try to sell their products because they might think they might annoy the person, but in most instances that hinders us as the actual entrepreneur because we're not delivering a service that can solve a need. So what I always urge people in my programs or people who are our clients is to look at like treat every launch or every campaign as your last campaign, to where you'll send too many emails or like you'll be on too many interviews. But that's how you create that omnipresence instance where you're just seen everywhere and you're talking about the same thing again and again, and you grow that brand, as opposed to putting out one article every 2 weeks or like maybe doing one Facebook Live a month, right? You want to almost overkill it just to hit what you were trying to aim for. I think especially in today's industry where there's so much content and so much competition, a lot of people are still half in and half out though as well. So it is almost about trying to hit every single platform that you can as often as you can as well. And that's where I guess One Piece Social can help us out too, because you can upload a piece of content and repurpose that quite easily too.
Nice. I think it is something, and again, I have to say, even I myself, being an introvert, I was a little bit afraid of making too much noise because, like you said, I might annoy people. But I've come to that idea now, come to that realization that if I have something that I truly feel that people could benefit from, and if I'm not sharing that, that's my own fault. I mean, I am stopping myself from being successful, and I'm stopping thousands of other people from being successful as well. I shouldn't do that.
Correct. And the other thing as well is that, I can say this from my own experience too, is that if I ever thought about doing a really aggressive campaign, I might not go all in on it because I might be concerned to what happens. Like maybe I lose some of my email list. Maybe I get some awful reviews online, but these are just ideas. Like, this hasn't happened yet. So now what I do if I go into any campaign is I treat it as an experiment, as to like, okay, this might happen, but let me just go ahead and execute with everything that I have and see what happens. And if something does happen, then you can adjust it from there. But most people play to not lose rather than play to win, right? So you just like, and it's so true though, like most people play to not have anything awful happen to them, but you want to play all out and you want to go overboard just to win.
I gotta say, I think I'll kind of write this down on a big piece of paper and put it on my wall. It really is good, because you're right. I mean, that attitude, that risk-averse attitude where you feel like, oh, I don't want to do it. What if? Because, what if I lose? But they never think, what if I win? How would life be different then if it actually works out? I like it.
I was just gonna, do it. The sort of other framing that I use as well, especially as us as entrepreneurs, we always ask ourselves, well, what is the worst thing that could happen? And it's coming from that risk prevention point of view. And something that I've been doing a lot in June and July for my own projects and just in my own life in general is, how good could it be? Like, how good could it be if this works? Right? So rather than coming from a risk prevention point of view, we're looking at it from an infinite upside point of view instead. And that is, again, linked to playing to win as opposed to playing to not lose.
Interesting. And coming back to the membership sites, what's your goal moving forward? Is it going to be a key part of your business or just something on the side?
Well, we're actually using it for consulting aspect of the agency as well. We're also using it for One Piece social. Pretty much we're using it for everything. So I've designed a lot of online programs previously, for about 6 or 7 years, and they were hosted on like Optimized Press and all these other platforms. I like Carvio because of how the user interface looks and sort of how easy it is to integrate with everything else as well. So moving forward, we'll probably keep using it for our agency clients, for those who we take on board and we need to train up as clients, and also for One Piece social moving forward. Really want to grow and push that aspect of that course as well.
Nice. And let me also ask you then about lifestyle. So I think you're in Australia, if I remember right.
I am correct, yes.
How has your lifestyle changed basically once you've been able to figure out your strategy with creating courses, membership sites, and putting that out there? What is your day-to-day like these days?
It's not so much what happened when I figured out how to create courses. I think most people know how to create content and know how to sort of create that. What most people don't know how to do, I think, is playing to win. And that's something that I've especially pushed this year as well. And I guess to answer your question, what I've sort of learned from what my lifestyle looks like now is I have a full calendar every single day, of it be client work or sales calls or coaching calls for my clients as well, is that I get to be more creative. I get to have my team support me more because we had that cash flow coming in from my online courses that allows me to do other projects. Life is just easier once you have that cash flow come in. And I think most people would agree that sales tend to fix most problems. Like if you need to hire someone new or if you need to get some new tools or software, sales is what you need. Like if you have a client, you don't like it, but if you have some more sales, you don't need that client, right? So it tends to fix everything. And once you sort out that aspect of any business, things just become a lot easier as well.
Reminds me of Wolf of Wall Street as well, because there is this monologue from him where he was saying, if you're struggling with this, go make some sales. If you're struggling with that, go make some sales. I mean, if you have team problems, for example, make a lot of money, there won't be any team problems anymore. Everyone will be happy. So,
or you hire a new team, right? Like because you have that capital in there as well. So once people, I guess, learn how to create their courses, host it on Cardio, and then go all out on that idea and play to win, life just gets a lot easier. Once you cross that threshold, which of like self-doubt and self-confidence and what if this works or doesn't work, if you just ignore that and play to win, I think people will be surprised at how easy it can get once it gets traction.
I love that attitude. I really, really do. So thanks for sharing that with me and everyone else. But I've got a few fun little questions for you, just quick fire round. What I want to know, Jamie, is what's your favorite book or what are you reading at the moment?
Favorite book? I have to toss up between two.
Uh-huh.
Well, I kind of want to. Can I say three?
Yeah, if you
I'll
want.
say these two in this order as well. The first is Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday.
Okay.
Very highlighted, very aggressively coloured in book. The reason I say this is primarily because it teaches you to appreciate the challenges and I guess lean into what's hard as opposed to most people try to avoid what's hard as well. So that one is for the external problems like client issues, things not going to plan, all of that. The other one is also by Ryan Holiday, which is Ego is the Enemy as well, which is more so about internal doubt, confidence issues, all of that. And those two combined, I've read maybe, I want to say close to 80 times ish on and off throughout the last 3 or 4 years. And they just serve as constant reminders as to what is important, where should my attention be, and how should I lean into this problem, if it be something outside or something inside as well.
Wow. And, just because you showed that, I want to show this as well. Like, I read this book
Yeah.
and I mark
Look
everything
at
the
that.
same.
I love it. I love
So,
it.
yeah, it really helps
So
going back
good.
to it, going to the key points. So interesting. We have the same approach to this. But
Awesome,
let me
man.
ask you this. What kind of music are you into, Jamie, and what's your favorite band?
So I used to play, I mean, I am a drummer, so I kind of appreciate all music. But if I'm doing work, I listen to Praying.fm
Yeah,
usually, which I love. If it's not, I mean, that's primarily what I listen to if I'm doing work. If I'm at the gym or training or doing something else, it depends on the mood, but that's my most consistent place is Brain.fm. Just keeps me
I like
engaged,
that.
headphones on, head down. That's it.
Yeah, I like that as well. I mean, the everything they have, their collection is really good. So nice.
It's amazing. Yeah.
What about traveling, Jamie? Do you travel a lot? And if you do, where do you go to? Do you have a favorite city?
I usually spend, and this might come to the lifestyle question again, is that every year I spend 3 months overseas, usually 3 or 4 months. So I've been doing it since 2016, 2017, and this year I'm probably doing 4 months overseas. I've done Europe a lot. I've done Europe and America last year. My favorite place, I
Hmm.
like Paris and New York primarily. New York was really good fun, amazing place, really good vibes. Paris was just amazing, like beautiful town, beautiful place as well. So
So you're a big city
yeah,
guy then?
I am, but I also really enjoy like Greece for like the small island aspect as well. I kind of just like I can like anywhere, as
Okay,
long as I can, I guess, find somewhere to exercise and have an internet connection. Then I'm good. So.
sure. Fair enough. So we're coming up to the last part of this, Jamie. I'd love for you to say something to inspire people who are still on the edge and they feel that they can create something but they can't sell. What would be your advice to them?
I would say lean into what is uncomfortable. So, in terms of my own experience, I actually have a speaking impediment. You probably can't tell so much so, but for the first 21 years of my life, I was, I guess, unable to communicate because of my own issues around that, lots of blocking, and no one could really understand me per se. But once I learnt more into that and practiced and got good at communicating, speaking, I then learned how to talk to clients, learned how to sell and all of that. But all of this came from me leaning into what I deemed impossible, what I deemed hard. So if you don't like doing sales calls, then you're going to have to do some more sales calls to get over that, right? And it's almost like the answer that no one wants to hear as to how do you get good at something you don't like to do. Most people like to do a course about it or practice like the skill set around the problem. They don't like to practice the actual problem. In terms of taking a word from my head coach where I train, people ask, how do you improve your roundhouse kicks? And then he says, you kick more. Like most people want the answer of like, maybe it's a certain way I turn my hips or how I like warm up. It's like, no, like you just need to do more reps. And whatever issue, whatever problem, if it's you can't sell, if you have a small email list, if it's, you don't have ad spend, if it's, you don't know how to advertise, the only way to get through that is through real world practice. Yes, you can read. Yes, you can do courses, all of that. But it's time spent in the trenches, and I guess time spent falling over, and the reps that you do on the mat or in the field or wherever it is that really counts. And that's not the answer that people want to hear, but it's the truth, because I've been through it myself many a times where if I'm not good at something, it's like, okay, that has to become something I do every single day until that becomes easy. And then what's the next thing as well? What's the next thing after that? And again, this book will definitely highlight that aspect of that, because it teaches you how to lean into your obstacles as well. So to not merely prepare what is necessary, but to actually enjoy it, to enjoy the climb and appreciate what is hard as well.
I have to say, this by far has been one of the most, I think, for me at least, changing, attitude changing call. I think it just really helps to talk to someone who has been through all the hardships and is now at that stage where they lean in more when they have a problem, and they just, try and play to win, because that should be the attitude. I like it. One last thing, Jamie, if people want to learn more about you or hear from you, where can they go? I mean, what are I think you have a couple of websites that you can talk about maybe?
I do. So if they want to look at the agency, they can head to titans.com.au. If they want to check out the social platform, check out onepiecesocial.com. If they want to learn more about me, simply search my name and I should appear up the top as well. But for anyone who wants to get in contact with me, simply add me up on Facebook, and I'm more than happy to help out and to chat and to answer questions wherever possible.
Excellent. Jamie, I really appreciate that, and thank you for taking the time out for doing this with us. I'm sure people will be inspired, and they'll have big changes in their life after this, listen to this call. So thank you.
Cool. Thank you for having me.